Hello, my beautiful guys and dolls, and welcome to an episode of Before the Curtain. I'm your host, Abbie Campbell, and we are here to discover the passion behind the performance. Artists of all backgrounds will share their stories about what it takes to create, survive, and thrive in the competitive world of entertainment. Finding inspiration in their journeys, we aim to bring you everything that happens before the curtain. My friends, today's artist is nothing short of mind-blowing talent and versatility. As a dancer and acrobat, he worked with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines and was in Les Folies Bergère, which is not the correct pronunciation of that. However, it's fine. He pivoted more heavily into circus arts when he went back to Royal to help them open a brand new ship. From there, his love for aerial was unstoppable. After his journeys abroad, he came back to Vegas, where he performed as a dancer and aerialist for iconic productions, Don Arden's Jubilee, Steve Wynn's Showstoppers, Alice Las Vegas, Wow, Maryland, Totally Outrageous Brunch, and Hans Klock, the world's fastest illusionist. In addition to performing, he took on the passion for teaching, starting at Fernandare Conservatory, Trapeze Las Vegas, and is currently at the Las Vegas Circus Center. Oh, and he's also a licensed helicopter pilot, just to throw that in there. He is here with us today because he has one of the most unique specialties, iron jaw. The last 4 years, his mastery has led him all over the U.S., Canada, the Netherlands, and Taiwan. He broke the Guinness World Record by holding 3 aerialists with his teeth, equating to 409 pounds. So with all of his outstanding talents, my guys and dolls, please help me welcome to the mic the breathtaking Michael Raddiff.
Hello.
Hi, and welcome.
Thank you.
So out of all the specialties,
yes,
why did you choose iron jaw?
That's a great story. I was coaching at Trapeze Las Vegas at the time. This was at the end of 2019. And one of my colleagues, Leisha, she and I were just chatting, and it came up in conversation, that specific discipline. And I had seen a video years ago of this really big production of 30 aerialists doing straps, and all of a sudden some of them were hanging by their teeth. And I was like, what? What is that? You know? And then I just saved that video and kind of put it away. So fast forward to this conversation in 2019, we're chatting about it. And I was like, I kind of think I could do it. I have all my teeth. I have good teeth. I'm
sorry, I don't mean to start laughing.
Yeah.
But when you hear about iron jaw, you don't think that that's a qualification is to have all your teeth.
So it is. And what I mean by all of your teeth, you actually have to have your own adult teeth. Okay. So you can't have veneers because they're not rated for like the weight of it. I found that out way after doing the discipline. So good thing that I did, because I didn't know that till way into the whole thing. Anyway, so I'm having this conversation, telling her about it. And she goes, I think my dad could make one for you. And I was like, really? And while she's saying that, one of the moms of one of the kids I taught, she was like, yeah, my husband is a dentist. He could take the mold of your teeth. And I was like, why not? So I get the mold made. My friend Leisha, her dad lives in Alabama, owns a denture company, and is a fabricator. He had made her aerial apparatuses throughout her career and stuff. So that's why she thought he would be able to make it. So I just send it off. He makes this prototype and sends it back. I get it about end of January 2020. And I start training it, which training it was just like hanging it up, getting on my knees and putting pressure, like biting into this thing and putting pressure. And it was awful. It's like, oh, this is so painful. What am I doing? So I tried to do it every day, a little bit at a time. And in about a month's time, I was finally able to lift my feet off the ground. I was like, okay, there's some progress. Still terrible, but there's something there, So then we went to COVID shutdown. I was like, oh no, we all know how that went. And so then I ended up putting a pull-up bar in my door frame of my closet and training it there, then getting a portable rig outside in my backyard, getting on YouTube, trying to find some people that were doing it and how they're doing, just like moving their body. And I would just experiment. And that's kind of that's the origin of me getting into this discipline.
So what does it feel like?
Okay, so the very beginning, the pain is in your neck because, for me anyway, because it's so far back when you bite, and then all of your weight, it really pulls it back to a place that you wouldn't normally be in, So it's very contorted in your neck. So I had to build the strength in that stretch. So that pain was the worst at the beginning. Once that built, then I started to feel like the jaw muscles starting to work more, and that can cramp every now and then. And that's when you kind of know, okay, you should stop. So there's a lot of experimental finding out. There wasn't a syllabus. I didn't have a coach. It was very much experimental to see what my body could do. Also, I don't do it in a traditional way. Iron jaw is a very old art form. It goes back to the 1800s. And they would use, and they still do this, but they would use a leather strap
to bite on,
and you mold your own teeth to the strap, and you usually have to replace that over time. Whereas mine is denture material, but it's the opposite. So my teeth go into that material that it's molded to my teeth, and then that piece was cooked to a strap. So I've been able to use that piece for 6 years now. So
wow.
Yeah.
Have you tried it with using the leather?
No, I'm not interested. Because, well, I've seen and heard that it really does affect people's teeth that do it, and it changes their teeth where they are, and so it moves them around. And I've gone to the dentist ever since, every year, and nothing has changed except the muscles in my jaw have changed. But my teeth are fine.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not changing what I'm doing because it's working.
Absolutely not. Have any dentists been like, wait, you do what?
So fortunately, well, kind of in a way, but my dentist is an ex-performer. So he's so down for it.
I love it.
Shout out to Rex Liu. Yeah.
He was like, yeah, we're going to keep your teeth healthy.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Sorry for asking all the detailed questions.
No, I love it.
I don't actually, are there any other iron jaw performers here in Vegas?
Yeah, there are a few. A lot of people that do iron jaw currently will have it as a piece of their act. So, for example, actually, that's how I started too. So, shout out to April Leopardi. She is my best friend, and we have been a duo, for a long time. We met around when I was doing Alice, and because the two of us were in that show together. And we became a duo a few years after that. And then she really was supportive of me learning this discipline, because then I would ask her to hang off of me or me hang off of her and stuff like that. So she was so supportive. She is integral to me working up towards doing the world record and holding people, because she's the first person I ever held. She is a big reason that I've made the, steps that I've made throughout that time. And so that was how it was at first when we were a duo. We just put it in our duo. We do our normal thing that we would do, and at the end it was a big surprise.
Okay.
So she'd hang off me, I'd hang off her, however we wanted to put that act together. And that's as far as I thought I was going to take it, because I didn't think you would do anything past that. But then April got into Awakening. She is the current resident darkness, as I'm sure all of us know. Shout out. And I was like, oh, I need to do something as a soloist. I had been in a duo for so long. It was time to kind of think, all right, what do I want to go back to as a soloist? I had done a lot of different apparatuses, and it's kind of funny. I remember right when I first started training the iron jaw stuff, someone had said, well, you could never do a full act just with iron jaw. And at that time, I wasn't thinking anything about it. And then when April got the show and I needed to start thinking about doing stuff by myself, that kind of pinged in my head. And I was like, let me see if I can.
Bet.
Let me see if I can. So something I'm very proud of as an iron jaw performer is I can do a full solo act with iron jaw. And I worked really hard to make it a full act that would be not just a gimmick, not just surprise or anything. It's something that I find can be an artistic thing, not just this wild, edgy thing. Usually it's something whoa, danger, edgy. And I love that. And I love being dangerous or whatever. But then I was like, I think I could make this something that is ethereal and, creature-like or whatever. And so I really explored that. And it's really been a cool 4 years of performing this as a solo.
Wow. How cool. Yeah. And do you do any specific exercises in order to strengthen your neck?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of silly. I'll dig my knuckles into my jaw muscle. I'll do neck warm-ups that you would see in a dance class or anything like that. It's definitely something common there. The thing, though, that's kind of funny and special that helps is chewing gum right before.
Really? Oh, like a warm-up.
Yeah. Okay. Actually feels really good. It's like a massage. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one that I love to chew gum right before I perform. It's great.
I love that.
Yeah.
But like in order to strengthen your neck, like when you were first starting, did you have to do anything?
It was just doing it.
Okay.
It was just doing it to like feel that pain and realize, oh, okay, I need to build neck muscles in that position. And really the only way to get in that position is to hang that way.
Yeah. Because it's really drastic, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you can do like neck hangs on a loop. Like that's a very common thing to do in aerial. But even that is only like sitting back a little bit. Whereas when it's in your mouth and it's pulling you back that far, there's nothing like that.
Yeah, because I am really into going to the gym, so I've seen some
like
people
all those,
like with the it's like the head strap,
Mhm.
and you can attach a weight to it to like bring your head up and down or side to side.
That's so
or
funny. You know,
that kind of thing. So that's why I was like, oh, I wonder if
Nope, I've never actually done that
I
before.
love that.
Yeah.
That's okay, amazing.
Yeah.
And really random. And I
Yeah.
could be very wrong because I feel like I heard this in a passing way and
Okay.
not like I sat there and really asked more follow-up questions about this. But I know like with hair hangers
Yes.
that they can actually develop like issues with their hair
Yes.
staying in their head when they don't train and practice.
Right.
Do you think that would be the same thing with your...
So I attempted hair hang for 6 months.
Okay.
And I was good at it right away.
Okay.
Because I had the neck muscle training already. Because there is a similar, like, even though, so that's straight up and down, you know, and there's a way that you have to tie your hair properly. But the damage I felt immediately, I could feel it for me personally in my hair. It was pulling my hairline back. I could just feel things in my scalp. And I love hair hang. I think it's beautiful. I have so much respect, especially now having tried it. But after doing it for 6 months and realizing, or asking myself, like, why am I doing this? And I realized I was only doing it because I was getting positive reinforcement outside, but it wasn't really like passionate for me. So the answer to your question is yes, there is damage that can be done in both disciplines, if not properly prepared for, if not trained on a regular basis, but also resting. You know, I learned the hard way early on with Iron Jaw because, again, I didn't have a syllabus. And when I got pretty good at it, and April and I had put it in our act, there was a time I had overdid it. And I was so sore and I couldn't do it for a little while. I had to just stop to let it all heal to come back. So it's definitely a listen to your body, say no when you need to, you know. With hair hang, I don't have a lot of experience with that, but it's so important to know how to prep your hair properly. That is so important, and really make sure you do that. Don't learn off a video. Like, have somebody who is a master of the craft teach you how to do it. If you can find somebody who is willing to do that, take the time. Take the time for sure. Yeah.
Do you think anything bad would happen to your teeth if you stopped doing this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, only because the feelings I have with Iron Jaw are not the same as hair hang. I have not felt like I've felt any damage that is long lasting. It was more like pain that I was working through that started to go away. And then again, going to the dentist and not seeing any effects, negative, I feel like I'll be okay.
Yeah, no, that's why I was so curious, because, you know, your body adapts so quickly to things. So whenever you stop, sometimes you can have your body's like, well, guess you're not using your teeth anymore.
Right. Totally. I guess the good thing is we, constantly have to eat. We constantly have to chew.
That's true.
So maybe that's something that keeps it intact.
So when you set out to be a solo act, what was there any hesitancy?
No.
Okay.
No. Once I decided I was going to do it, I was like, all right, let's start experimenting past just hanging. How can I contort my body in different positions? How can I make it dynamic with movement, whether it's a motor or being manual pulled, like orbiting around in a circle or swinging side to side? What can my body handle in fast moving situations? And then, I've really worked on my flexibility over the last few years, because that really helps too. If people ask me all the time, how's your jaw? How's your mouth? How's that? And I'm honestly like, it's not my jaw and mouth that are the things that I have to really take care of. It's the rest of my body. Because, with other apparatuses, you use the apparatus and work around that. Whereas with this, it's just me. Right? It's my body that I have to make interesting in this act. And so I've really had to work on my flexibility, and I'm not 20. So, that's been a challenge on like working on flexibility, preventing injury in parts of my body that are feeling its age, stuff like that. So, but no, I wasn't hesitant. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it and figure it out, And as soon as I did, I was like, cool, I need to get this on stage as soon as possible. And that the Viva Fest festival I was talking about earlier was the first place I did it. Wow. And got some really good feedback because, again, I didn't really have any eyes on it at first, and got some really good feedback on making some adjustments to make it better for performance. And then it was like, once I got it and took feedback and then fixed some things to make it better for show, it was just like momentum. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm onto something. This is going to work. I love this. Great.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you think being a trained dancer has helped you sculpt this act?
1000%. Absolutely. My dance training is what has got me everywhere with my aerial career. 100%. I always emphasize or give advice to younger up and coming circus artists who don't have dance experience to take dance class, because it's not just lines. It's not because yes, lines are great, but musicality, expression, your awareness, your body awareness as a dancer, it translates to aerial so well. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say most people who've ever seen aerial circus performance, your favorite ones, if you don't know anything about performance or circus on the inside, your favorite performances, they probably had dance experience. I really believe that because they're just that complete package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think the body awareness differences between aerialists and dancers? So random and detailed.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's really good, because when you don't have dance experience and you just start aerial, you're working on strength and flexibility first. Like the strength, really, that's first, because you need to make sure you're safe, right? You need to be safe up in the air. So if you're just starting with strength, you're only thinking about, am I safe up here? Am I going to be able to control myself up here? Am I going to fall? Whereas if you're coming at it with a dance background and then you start strength training, you can already think, okay, am I strong enough? Am I going to be safe? But also, how do I look when I'm holding this way in this angle? How's this angle? How's this shape? Are my feet pointed, properly? Or do I have a stress sickle because I'm nervous? When you're starting from nothing, those bad habits happen immediately because it's survival. Whereas dance, we had to survive our training and then put up on a smile when it hurt,
That's such a good quote. We did have to survive our training.
Yeah.
Did you ever think, like, going into pursuing your career as a dancer originally, right? Did you think you were going to kind of turn into aerial and circus?
Aerial, I wasn't 100% sure because that wasn't something I was exposed to very young, but acrobatic in some way, yes, because I started as a gymnast when I was a kid. I wanted to be a Power Ranger at 5 years old. That's what I thought I was. I was tumbling on my parents' couch and my mom was like, that's it, we're taking you gymnastics. And so at that point, I was a gymnast and I wanted to be an Olympian and like do that. And then it wasn't until I was a teenager, my sister got me into dance. And so, it was one of those things, I was one of the few boys who could tumble. I was in the competition circuit. So if you could do tricks, that was good.
Booked.
Booked, exactly. So I'd always loved Cirque. We came to Vegas all the time for dance competitions and we would go see Cirque shows. And so at that point, I was interested in being a performer. I knew early on, kind of in my teenage years, that I wanted to be a performer and I really liked Cirque. So I think at that time, I thought I would be more of an acrobatic dancer, which did really happen. A lot of the first jobs I did, I was tumbling and dancing. And then it wasn't until that cruise ship on Royal that they just kind of made the dancers do aerial because they created an all aerial show. And I was like, oh, I really like this. I'm flying through the air now. And all of the training that I had dance-wise and tumbling-wise, it kind of just worked. I understood it right away. So that, I would say that once I did that cruise ship, then I was like, oh no, I'm an aerialist now.
I love that. It's funny because as I was rewriting your bio a little bit, I was like, I'm gonna put this sentence in there that from that contract, his love for aerial was unstoppable. And you saying that proved I was right.
You were right. 100% right.
So what I guess specialties or apparatuses did you start with?
Oh yeah, the very first thing was Lyra, which is an aerial hoop. That was one of the things on the cruise ship that we learned, and it was in the show. There were a lot of random specialty apparatuses they had in the show. So it's funny when you work on a cruise ship and you become an aerialist, you're kind of fast-tracked. So you don't get a lot of foundational things as much as you would think, at least then. This is 2007, so times are probably different. I haven't been on a cruise ship in a long time. But that was my the first apparatus I touched. Then as far as true circus arts training, silks was my first training because I moved here officially in 2012 and I started training at Fernadaire with Cassie Sandos, shout out. She was my first true aerial coach, and that was on silks. And Lyra too, but I really focused on silks. I fell in love with that. And I was like, oh, this is what I am. I'm a silks artist. I am doing that and focused on that. And then I randomly got into rope because I auditioned for Cirque with silks. Then they asked me to audition for MJ1 that has the rope act in it. Mm-hmm. They were like, you have a rope, right? And I was like, sure. And so I translate all as what I could from my silk knowledge onto rope and did that. And then I was like, oh, rope's cool too. So let's keep that in the bag of tricks. Then I randomly got into trapeze, dance trapeze, because Absinthe was having an audition. They had this big open call years ago and they were letting like kind of anybody submit for it. And I submit my silks and I submit my hoop and they're like, well, we can't do silks because it'll hit people. We have a lot of hoop. We can't do rope because it'll hit people. I'm like, oh no. So then I'm like looking online at other things and I was like, oh, look at this guy doing dance trapeze. That's kind of like rope and Lyra mixed. I was like, what about dance trapeze? And like, that'd be great. I was like, crap, I need to do that. so then I do that. And then I fell in love with dance. I love dance trapeze. So those are the first like 4 core apparatus I did. Then when April and I met, we started working as a duo and she's crazy. She does chains. And forever, I was like, no, I'm not doing chains. We can do our silk duo. We can do I'll do any, but that's your thing. You do that. That's awesome. I support you. But no, thank you. And then during COVID, when we were able to, we opened, Trapeze Las Vegas opened outside when we could do things outside. And so all of our students and all of our rigging and everything went outside. And she talked me into it. And I was like, fine, I'll try it. And then I fell in love with it. And she was like, see, I told you. And then that was our jam for years. And still, I mean, even though we're apart as far as work goes, anytime we can work together, we'll get those chains out and rock it.
That's one of the most like painful ones though, isn't it?
It's she's not comfortable.
Okay.
She's not comfortable. You know, you learn. It's definitely, and April will be able to talk about this better than me because she has way more experience, but it's like this relationship and it's kind of an abusive relationship between the two. But as long as you see them as something like they have a mind of their own, different than other apparatuses, and chances are they're going to win, right? Because they're metal. They don't have pain receptors. They're not going to get a concussion. They're not going to break a bone. So you need to treat them like that. You need to treat them kind of with a different respect than other apparatuses because they're not going to break. They're not going to be like, ow, don't do that. We are. Mm-hmm. So I think April, when she would teach classes, she would let the students know, listen, in this class, it's okay to whine. It's okay to complain because chains do hurt. And I'm not going to pretend like they don't. It's okay. Yeah. You know, because like, you know, your pinky will slip into the link, you know, and you'll bleed. Like, and sometimes you'll get used to it to a point where you don't even realize it happened. And then all of a sudden you're bleeding and you're like, oh no, I guess my finger went through the thing, So yeah, that's a totally different world. Mm-hmm. Shout out to anybody who does chains.
Right. So we're going back just ever so slightly.
Yeah.
You talked about really trying to support your body in your current journey of working on your flexibility and kind of doing that. What are some things that you found that really support your body well?
Physio. Finding good physio that works for your body. That is important, especially when you're getting older, like when you're in your 30s and pushing 40 and stuff like that. Actually, what I'm going to say is learn good physio early on. I didn't. It was all about stretching. Just more is more, stretch. That's kind of how I came up into dance and stuff. Everything was like force it, and I'm paying for it. But I have learned good physio, thankfully, to like continue the career. And when I say physio, things like myofascial release work. So, lacrosse balls, rolling out, foam rollers, stuff like that, all is good. Also, if you have a good PT person who knows stuff, getting taped, rock tape. KT tape's okay, but rock tape is the best. And then specifically, the career-saving thing that I found is this thing called the hip hook from Aletha. Have you heard of it?
I think so. Because it's the one with like multiple arms, right? Or am I thinking? No. What am I thinking of?
It is just this little curve.
Oh, yeah, goes into your
into your psoas, and you lay on it. That thing is saving my career and keeping my hips like okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's $200. It's kind of expensive, but it'll be the best $200 you spend. Dancers, aerialists, gymnasts, athletes, any kind of athletic thing you do, we don't realize how our psoas and our iliacus are major problems because we don't work them. And it's such a weird place to like dig into.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a thing. And across the board, anybody I've had use it, they're like, oh my gosh, my back just like relaxed immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, so big advocate for that.
Oh my gosh, now I know what I'm going to do after our chat.
Order.
Yes.
Sometimes
it's a tax write-off.
Yep, tax write-off. Yes, and holidays, like Thanksgiving, they've done Black Friday things. Like look for the deals. You might get a half-off situation. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I have actually always wanted to ask this question to an aerialist.
Yeah.
How do you keep going even though your art hurts so much, hurts your body?
That's a really good question, and it's so real. For me, okay, I obviously have tattoos, so I'm going to kind of put a parallel to that in a way.
Yeah.
This might not resonate with a lot of people, but maybe it will. So when I got my first tattoo, obviously it was painful, and then you get through it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, and it's the thing that you really wanted. And it's also cool, and I'm going to kind of put the artist of the tattoo artist and then a coach. So you've got this tattoo artist who has like collaborated with you to create this art piece, and then they have to hurt you in order to get this art piece put on you. So they're like watching you suffer while you're getting through it, and then it's done, and then there's success on both sides. So you've got this artist who's now like made this art piece complete, and they're like, yes, did it, and it looks great. And then the client is like, oh, I love it. And I got through that pain. And so I kind of feel it's similar in this way, especially being a coach as well, because I coach people of all ages and all levels, and I see the pain they're going through, and I understand the pain they're going through. But then you'll see these results, even if they're small, like the first time you're able to finally climb to the top of a silk or a rope, or that first time you get to you invert, you go upside down by yourself without me supporting you. Those little results really do like push you, drive you forward. And for me, it was addicting. Like as soon as I would get something, I'm like, oh, great. So that means I can probably like climb higher and then maybe do a bigger drop or a bigger trick, or, okay, if I really just focus on this flexibility, it's going to look so much better. So just like breathe and push through those painful stretching moments. And then the same as a coach, and seeing these students finally doing their first full routine and having the stamina to get through a 3-minute routine when before they couldn't climb. And now they can do a whole routine and climb multiple times. So that's my long-winded answer to your question.
No, I love that. It was that's a good analogy. With the tattoo and the tattoo artist, and
that shit hurts every time.
Oh, yes.
It hurts every time. But it's worth it.
Yeah, and you are excited for the outcome and the destination of putting in that time and detail and energy, and then, you have it forever.
And you have it forever. And I think the parallel there with tattoo and then aerial having it forever, when you've performed an aerial routine in the air, especially if you get to do stuff on a winch motor, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that experience. And even if you only get to do it a few times and then you never get to do it again, that experience you have forever. And you know what that feeling is. Mm-hmm. And it is worth only getting to do it a few times if you only get to do it, So, yeah.
I love that. So I want to get to Alphabet Mafia.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about it. Yeah.
So you created your own show.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a queer-themed, lavish depiction of the queer experience, specifically coming out. And I wrote this show over a few years. I didn't even realize I was writing the show when it started happening.
Oh.
Because at first it just started as a number, like one number. I was all the way in Holland in a little mini circus in a theme park for 2 months. And every day I had to work 7 days a week, no days off. It was wild, but I loved it. It was fine. And every day I would get up, I would do a workout, I would do the shows, we would do a parade, go home, have dinner, get up and do. It was just the same thing every day. And it was really fun, but it was monotonous. It was like, I never got bored, but it was definitely like kind of robotic. Mm-hmm. And for that time period, it was great. So I would listen to a lot of the same music, and all of a sudden, Madonna's Vogue would be on this playlist that I would listen to, and a number just popped into my head. And I was like, oh, what if we all are in these pinstripe suits, and then people are like taking them off and they're in these like hot, sexy pinstripe outfits, but they're like on a guy, it's something androgynous, or like a skirt, or it's like some, and on a girl, it's something masculine, and like all these different looks that aren't cookie cutter pinstripe suit. It's like, that'd be kind of cool. And then it's like an homage to Vegas because it's like mafia, So that's that's like the origin of it. So then fast forward, I come home, I'm like in Vegas, and shows like Awakening open, Voltaire opens, Lost Spirits opens, and I know I'm probably missing a few. But a lot of shows like opened up, and I was going to these shows and being so impressed by bold choices by producers. So regardless of these shows, if these shows still exist or not, I was still like, wow, these producers are taking bold steps, not following a norm. That's really inspiring. And it inspired, Dita, that was another one. That was like, and bringing back the Jubilee costumes, and I was, like all that. And so then it hit me one day. I think it was after I went to see Dita, actually. I get up one day, and all of a sudden, all these other songs start popping in my head. And I'm like, oh, wait, okay, that number with Madonna. And then what if there's a character, what if there's like gay character who hasn't come out to his parents? And the Whitney song, How Will I Know? I was like, what if that's not about like, how will I know if he loves me, like love relationship? What if it's like my dad?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Then I think about a trans character who realizes they're trans, they're already in a relationship, and now they have to come out to their partner. And Barbie had just come out, and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her, Billie Eilish's song from Barbie. And I was like, oh, that would be such a perfect like depiction of that for a trans character. And so it just kind of steamrolled. And then a non-binary character who needs to come out as aromantic, which is something that we're not really as mainstream and we know about. And I was like, I could bring like light to things in our community that aren't really, even in our own community, we might not be educated in. And so it just kind of steamrolled. So I go to my sister's, I have this playlist, I start playing this playlist, and I'm just telling her this idea. And she's like, this is awesome. And then I share it with April. I share it with a couple of the people. So there's this incredible artist, Storm. They're a circus artist from Minnesota. I've known them since they were 15. And they do chain. And I was like, they should be the non-binary character. And so I write them. And I'm like, hey, I wrote this show, I think, and you would be perfect for this character. If you're interested, would you want to meet up? And so meet up. Yes, loves it. So then I met up with Luke. Luke is Phillips is the gay character. And then I reached out to Kyle Kregel, Scarlet Business, who is taking off as the most incredible drag queen, played my trans character, and they were all down to play these roles. Well, two other big major roles are this owner of a nightclub who creates this nightclub, and that's where these characters come in to kind of escape, not out for their certain reasons, and it's like a place where a lot of locals go. So it's very clear they're new to this club. And so they're kind of like zeroed in on and called out, like, you're new. What's your story? We all know each other, so tell us. And so they depict their stories through what their talent is. So like Luke is a dancer. So he tells his story through this dance number with all the guys. Now, the character isn't a dancer. It's just how the story is told. And so then Storm tells their story with this chain act, which is incredible. And then Kyle did contortion act, telling their story. But they're just these people, you know, and so the song and the way they do their act tells the story. And then this owner has their story from the 80s during the AIDS epidemic, losing their partner to a riot during that time. And that's why this club started. And he reveals that. And then there's a resident drag queen who is incredible. Ray, shout out, you're incredible. David, as the owner, you're incredible. And then I had all these dancers who were down to just put it together too. And I had 7 choreographers so that we could have different dance numbers of different styles that went with these specific scenes to tell the story. And it just kind of took over. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really a thing. And so we did it at the Las Vegas Circus Center. I was trying to bring back, and I'm still going to try to do this, I'm trying to bring back, those of you who know about it, Golden Rainbow is this foundation with AFAN that started back in the 80s during the AIDS epidemic through Jubilee. And every year there's always a benefit, that there had been a benefit every year to raise money. And it goes, 100% of the proceeds go to AFAN, and it all different shows would come together to do a number. And so that stopped after the Tropicana was imploded, because that was the last place they were doing it.
Okay.
And since then they haven't got it back on their feet. The foundation still exists, but Ribbon of Life is what the charity show is called. And they haven't been able to bring that back. So I thought maybe this could be something in a different way. They've never done a full show, like a written show. And so, because the show has dialogue, it's got a full, there's scenes, and then the circus aspect, the dance aspect, singing, acting, it's got a little bit of everything. And so I'm still on this journey trying to get it on its feet somewhere else. So we can just, we don't have a big queer show here in Vegas, nothing like that. We have drag shows, of course, we have drag brunches and all that, but something that really dives into our community and what it is, and just as something that can be educational and like a spectacle and a celebration of our community.
Yeah, I think of Esteban show.
Yes.
And
Esteban was in it. Esteban was in Alphabet Mafia.
I think of that, his show, which I am the worst friend ever because the name of the show is not popping in my head right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I went at Gypsy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the word gypsy came to my head, but I like that. Glitz. There we go.
Glitz.
There we go.
With Furley.
Okay.
Yep.
We can still be friends now.
Yeah.
CC. Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I think about that whenever you kind of like talk about bringing light to their stories and those type of stories. Yes. Like we don't have that. Yeah. And that's the only other thing that I've heard of is Glitz.
Yeah.
Really doing that.
Yeah.
But I think that's so, I think it's needed for sure.
I think so. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like there's heavy parts of the show, but then there also is just fun celebratory parts where it's just like, we're all here to have a good time.
Right.
At the end of the day, Right.
But even as you said earlier, there's a lot of us in the community, at least arts community, and I can include myself, that I'm not the most educated in the diversity, of everybody's story in that way. And
it's a spectrum. It's a big spectrum.
Yeah.
Room for all of it.
Yeah. So I'm wish I had $1 million to give you to open it up.
If anyone has $1 million and just wants to hand it over, we put that show up.
Oh my God, I love it. And I'm a big believer is that like you made it happen once and it can be meant to happen again, right?
Oh yeah,
the right
I definitely
people will come
believe that.
along.
I definitely believe that. And shout out to the entire Alphabet Mafia family. Whether you were in it, you support it, you were there to watch, you came to see it, you still are in my heart, and I am still going to be working to try to make it happen, because that was bigger than just a show. That was bigger than, just something for performance like that. It feels like a life purpose thing. So yes, there's been a big gap from when we did it, but it hasn't gone anywhere.
Mm-mm.
Like, it is still alive and will be as long as I am.
Absolutely. And I remember when Luke messaged me about it, and I was out of town, and I felt so bad not being able to come see it, but then my flight got delayed that night, and I was like, no. But he was just so excited to tell me about it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the coolest thing, and then I feel bad not reaching out to you until now.
That's
but
okay.
Again, everything happens when it's supposed to happen.
Everything happens when it's supposed to. Yeah.
And it just, whenever you have somebody, I kind of mentioned that Luke reached out to me about it.
Yeah.
But he was so excited about it. And I think that's also so cool, is to create something and not only be excited about the project yourself, but also have the people involved to be excited about it.
The amount of time that they all donated. They donated all of their time to put it together, and we were doing rehearsals with fragments of the cast, because everybody's working, of course. So we had to go. So, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the run of our show, 4 people, was the only time we had the whole cast together, just because we had to work that way. And I wasn't going to put any kind of pressure on anyone to take off any work, so everybody just showed up and gave everything they had for it. And it was so beautiful. It was one of the best nights of my life. I will forever say that. And I'm so grateful to all of those people, every single one of them. You know who you are.
This actually sounds like a show that Virgin Voyages would probably love.
Oh my God. Okay.
Because Virgin, do you have any experience or knowledge about Virgin?
Well, I just know about them and know people who worked for them.
Okay. It's not like I work for Virgin or anything.
Yeah.
But hearing the show and then knowing that I have a friend that works for Virgin, talks about the shows and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can see a lot of similarities.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Virgin Voyages.
Just throwing that out there.
Okay, you're next. I'm calling you.
Okay, big switch.
Big switch.
So
Love
how did you want to break Guinness World Record?
Great story. No, I had never had thought that would be something I would do. So last year company I work for, Q Productions, shout out Kelly and Fernando. They're a big advocate for My Iron Jaw Act, actually. Most of my work with My Iron Jaw solo is because of them, and I'm so indebted to them. I have worked other places and other places that have hired me. I'm so grateful to them too. But they're the first ones that hired me and have believed in it through this entire process, and I'm so grateful. Also, we got offered a show in Taiwan, and they get asked to go to Taiwan every year or every other year for just one quick run. It's like a weekend, and it's incredible. This is the second time I got to go. So this time, the show was it was all danger acts, enormous danger acts, tight wire, double wheel of death, the highest, unicycle stacking, just so many danger acts. And I think the thing was called Daredevil Danger Thrills Show or whatever. I can't remember. It was a long title. I can't remember. Anyway, so I get hired with a group of aerialists to do a sphere act. And
wait, what's a sphere act?
Yes. So a sphere is a big, it can be whatever size you want to make it, but we had a big globe, a bunch of liras put together, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And so 4 of us were hired to put a group act together for the show. Well, Fernando calls me and is like, "Hey, Michael, so I wanted to talk about the sphere act." So Alyssa McCraw, she was our captain in the group and also aerialist. So she's like, she's going to choreograph it. But I do want to incorporate Iron Jaw in the number because all the acts have some element of danger. And I love the sphere act, but that's kind of where we're hitting. It's just a nice, pretty number. And we need to put some kind of risk, some kind of like danger. And I was like, well, of course I'll do an iron jaw trick. What do do you want me to like spin on the bottom, or do you want me to like somebody could hang off of me? Like that stuff I've done before. So no problem. He's like, well, I'm like, uh-oh. He's like, no, I'm thinking of something like it needs to be like a feat, like some kind of act of danger that could feel risky, I'm like, okay, why isn't that risky enough, And so we had talked about like picking up weights and stuff like that. And I was like, I just don't think that's going to read. So then they put a promo together of the show, getting people excited about it. And Fernando goes on and he's talking about the different acts that are going to be in the show. And they mention that the unicyclist is a world record holder. And I was like, oh, I wonder what the world record is on holding weight with your teeth. There has to be one, right? So I get on the Guinness website. Sure enough, there's a ton. There's a bunch of different things because there's different ways that you can hold things with your teeth, whether you're pulling something, whether you're hanging upside down, or if you're hanging this way. And actually, a friend of mine the year prior broke a record. She's an aerialist and does iron jaw. She's from England. Her name's Morgan. Hey, girl. Fellow iron jaw artist. She held people under her. So she went like the bite plate was in her mouth this way.
So she was like hanging.
She was hanging like head up.
Yeah.
Right. And then wrapped her legs around her friend who hair hanged another girl hanging off her jaw.
Okay.
It was crazy. It was so cool. So
wow.
She has a record in that relationship of iron jaw. And so I was like, well, I don't want to touch hers. I'm not going to mess with hers because she just got it. So then I was like, what if I do something hanging upside down? And sure enough, there's a different record for that. And the record was, I knew I could beat it as soon as I saw it because April and I do a trick that I knew would beat that trick by itself alone easily. So I was like, oh, I can beat this record. So I call Fernando. I'm like, hey, what if I break a record with the iron jaw trick at the end of our sphere act? And he was like, that's great. Let's do it. I was like, awesome. I was like, here's the caveat. It's $800 because we only had 3 weeks until we were leaving to do the show. And he was like, that's fine, I'll cover it. I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, you deserve it. And I was like, oh my gosh, awesome.
Wait, what do you mean $800?
So it was $800 to fast track the application because you have to apply for Guinness. You can't just say, hey, I broke a record. And they're like, great, good job. Oh no. You have to apply, say what you're going to do and how and everything and where and when and all that. And then you get an approval. If you just do the freeway, it could take up to 12 weeks or more.
Oh,
and
wow.
we didn't have that kind of time.
Yeah, no.
So thankfully, Fernando was like, I'll front that bill so that we can get it because I want you to do it. And I was like, okay, great. So then I'm like, well, how do I do this? So being upside down takes away my weight. So now it's just the artist.
Yeah.
So then I was like, 2 of them just barely broke it. It was like, because at the time it was 286. And I knew I could easily break that. But only 2 of them, I think, was about that. And I was like, crap, we're going to have to do all 3. And I was like, that's going to be hard. So shout out to Alyssa, Ella, and Jonathan. They're the 3 other aerialists. They were so on board. They were like, cool, what do we do? Like, how do we train this? And so for 3 weeks, we went to Circus Center. We trained different ways of like, I would do 2 of them for a while. I'd try 3. I couldn't do it right away. So I was like, we really need to like get this because there are rules. I had to hold it for 10 seconds. Their feet had to be at least 6 inches off the ground, which that wasn't too bad. And then, so good news, I did it. It happened. It was really intense and really exciting. It felt like I won the Olympics because we were there like in this arena.
Yeah.
And they had this woman who was announcing in Mandarin while Fernando's announcing. So it was like a stadium, it was really cool. It was a really cool experience. But then the real hard part kicked in. Is submitting once you've done it to Guinness is so intense. I had to have different angles of video. I had to have 3 witnesses watch it and then write what they saw. We had to weigh the aerialist and the apparatus.
I'm sure record it too, whether it's pictures or
go do the act, come back down and weigh it again. That all had to be one straight video.
What? Oh, okay.
It had to be a video. So we had to work that into... So we stopped the show. We did our aerial act. Yeah.
Really?
We did our sphere act. We come down and then Fernando came out, stops the show and says, okay, this is a special moment. We're going to do this world record thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So then we weigh everything. We're talking to the witnesses telling them what they need to watch for and then write down. We did it. Then we needed to do it all again, like the weighing and everything. Also, the scale had to be a calibrated scale in Taiwan. It couldn't travel because that messes, like when you... So they had to call Taiwan before to get an official calibrated with a person who like says this is calibrated. Then I had to send it all to Guinness and then do this and hope they approved it. They did. They did. Yay. Wow. It got approved. Yeah. So for a good 5 months, I was the Guinness World Record holder. And then some guy in November broke it. So I have to break it again. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
just this past November?
Yeah. Yeah. So I only held it for like 5 months. But hey, it was worth it. And he only broke it by 15 pounds. So I'm kind of coming for him because I feel like I can do more. And we might be going back to Taiwan. There's talk of going back. So how cool to go back and like reclaim my title.
So how did they hang from you?
Oh, good question. So the sphere, we used this. So as a dancer, aesthetic matters.
Of course.
Right? So of course I was like, all right, this can't just be a thing. It has to work with all of us, which is also why I liked that we used all three of the aerialists that were a part with me in this act. So it was like all together. So then I got up. We had these span sets that hung under the sphere as a loop. So I went in a straddle in these span sets, and then the sphere was above. And then they
you like straddle like your legs are okay. So you're like hanging by your hips.
I'm hanging by my hips.
Okay.
Yep. And then they had this little spreader bar with hand loops on it that was attached to a bar that I held that had my bite plate. So I had the bite plate with these bars. They got their hands in the hand loops, and then I was like, "You guys need to spin because it needs to look cool." You know?
So sorry, I'm like trying to also understand the visual.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say mouthpiece. I don't know if that's mouthpiece is connected to a bar that has loops in it.
Almost. So I've got the mouthpiece in my mouth. That's connected to a bar that I can hold.
Okay.
Then they're connected to another spreader bar that has these hand loops hanging on them.
Got it.
So then they can spin on that while I'm holding for safety, just in case something went wrong. I can hold with my hands. And then once we got up at high enough, then I let go.
Right. And
held
then
for the 10 seconds, then re-gripped for us to go back down.
Got it. Okay.
Keep it, you know, we needed a fail safe just in case.
100%.
So true story. I only did it twice successfully. Once the week before we went, and once when I actually did it. Wow. Any other time I tried to do it, I couldn't hold it. Like it was just too much and I had to like time it out because I would be so sore. That's the sorest I've ever been from Iron Jaw, was just doing that. Like I can do my act all day long, but that pushed me to my limits, which it's like, wow, I found out what my limits are. Cool.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know until you try to find out.
Were you nervous?
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to do this?
Gosh, you know what? It's kind of yes, but no, because it was, I'm going to do this at all costs when I went up there.
Okay.
Because I had rested, I felt really ready, and there was this unknown of, can I do it? Because I only did it one other time, but I was like, I am going to go to my last, like, ability. And then if I absolutely can't, the bar's there, I can make sure that we're all safe.
Right.
But I was going to push myself to make it. And I held it 11 seconds just to be sure. Because I didn't want anyone to say, I didn't want anyone to be like, that's 9.8 seconds, it doesn't count. You know, I was like, he said 10 and he was like, you did it. 11, I was like, okay.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's so cool. I didn't know it makes sense that the Guinness World Records is very particular.
Yes.
But that's
you have
also
to be, because people lie and all. And now with AI, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
You gotta
Oh yeah.
You gotta follow. So I had pictures and videos at different angles and yeah.
That's amazing that it all worked out.
It all worked out.
Because 3 weeks prior, whoa.
Yeah.
So how do you plan to break it the next time?
We don't know yet, because the guy who broke it, he's amazing. He's this incredible artist. He's had 13 Guinness records in all sorts of different circus. He's this big Romanian guy, and his wife, he held his wife off a motorcycle prop. It was like it's really cool. And I wrote to him. I was like, you're awesome. Congrats on breaking my record because you're dope. Like it was great.
Wow.
So We don't know yet.
Okay.
We're talking about different things. I don't want to do anything like his. Obviously, I want it to be something special and different. But I also, when I broke the first time, I jumped from 286 was the one, and I went to 409. So if I'm gonna go for it, I want to break it by a lot again because I want it to be hard, and I feel like I'm hoping that it was a challenge for him since it was only a few pounds over mine, because records are meant to be broken. Like at first I was sad, but then I was like, no, that's why I did it, because it pushes people to then go the next level. Like, how far can we go? And so for me, I don't want to do this tit for tat with him. I'm going to come for it, and I'm going to try to go much bigger, maybe in the 500 area. Maybe we'll see what I can pull off. Obviously I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to try to keep it safe.
Right.
I will say we do want people involved again. Like, I do want to, I think that my thing is holding people. And I think but I think we want to try something that looks different, like a different aesthetic or a prop that's involved under me with the people. Like, that's things we're throwing out. So,
yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Okay, I also have another question because I saw your act with and I don't know his
Franklin.
name. Yes, with Franklin, the hair hanger. How did that act come to be?
Well, you were a part of that in a way, because it was Circus Couture.
Oh yeah, I was like, what?
So that's a fun story. That's such a fun story too. So I met Franklin a few years ago at AGC, which is another circus gym, which is where the directors of Circus Couture, Benoit and Ross, work. They coach there. And I had gone there to train with our friend Jessica. And so it was by chance that I then meet him, and he already knew who I was. He had followed me because he does Iron Jaw stuff as well. He does a lot. He's straps, aerial pole. I think he does some hand balancing. He's starting the duo skating stuff. Like, he's a well-rounded circus artist as well. Incredible. And so I meet him there, and he was like, we should do stuff together. Like, I do hair hang, I do jaw too. We should do stuff at some point. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so at one point, I think he wrote me on Instagram about it, and we scheduled it to meet up, and was like, yeah, let's play. So he gets his hair all done. I warm up my jaw, and we're just doing some stuff, hanging off each other one way and then the other way. We had another friend, Adrian, and he's a straps guy, and he was doing stuff with us, and we were just playing and took a couple videos. Fast forward to people submitting for Circus Couture last year. He had submitted his reel. I had already done Circus Couture the year prior, so I didn't submit for it because I'd already done it, and I had a great time, and I'm a big advocate for Circus Couture. I love it so much, but that's a place that people get to do their own acts. So I was like, I did it, so now other people need to do it. And I knew Franklin really wanted to, so he submits. He gets it. He totally gets it. And I'm like, awesome. And then I get a call from Benoit. He was like, hey, Michael, so I wanted to see, would you want to be a model for Circus Couture? And I was like, yes, I've never been a model. That would be great. I would love to do that. And he was like, but here's the thing. We want all the models to be involved with all the circus acts this year. And I was like, oh, cool. And he was like, and we've asked your friend Franklin to do it, and he's doing hair hang. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He was like, do you think you guys could do... Oh, he said, he put in his video that you two have done jaw and hair stuff together. Do you think you guys could do an act? And I was like, oh, I mean, that would be awesome. I would love that. But you need to ask Franklin. This is his act. You hired him to do it. So let's make sure he wants to. And he was like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll be okay since he put you in the video. I was like, well, yes, but ask him, So ask him. Of course, Franklin's like, absolutely. I'd be honored. That'd be awesome. So that's how that duo got put together. So we put it together with Aaliyah Hintz. She was the artistic director or a choreographer of the circus acts. And so, that experience was so great. It was so collaborative, so beautiful and fun. And we didn't know, we have our own trainings, and thank God we're seasoned, because we're really just making this from what each of us have, and it just happened. It just came together so well. That was such a beautiful experience. And the costume the students made this beautiful kimono, and to really represent their culture, which was really nice. And they were so thrilled to watch their costume fly in the air. And it was just such a meaningful experience. That was so beautiful. And, with something like that, you don't know what's going to go past that. That was one of those things like that will be a forever experience and it could be the only. And turns out this act is really doing well. We got invited to a circ audition last year. We went to another festival that we ended up winning in Colorado. And then this year, actually, this week, which is really exciting, we are competing in the World Circus Arts Championships at Viva Fest this weekend. And that's a big deal because they pick 10 acts from all over the world and of any kind of circus. So it's really hard to get into. And I've been wanting to get into this for years and we got chosen. So that act is really special to me for sure. And Franklin is awesome too. So shout out to him.
It was such a beautiful act. You two, you could just tell work so lovely together.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah, he's such a pumpkin. I love working with him. Yeah.
And I say to me, it was so inventive, but like, I'm not in the circus world, so I don't know what's crazy new and what's not.
Yeah.
But I had never seen anything like it. Yeah. And I do just so cool.
Thank you. I think our act is special. There are hair to hair and jaw to jaw acts out there. There are duos that do stuff like that. I think ours is just a special version of that. Where what our backgrounds are, what his training is, what my training is, having Leah's eyes on it and that creative process, regardless of if iron jaw or hair hang is something that is done, I still think our act is just something special just because of who we are and what it is. And yeah, I'm really proud of it.
Yeah. Okay, another really random question because I just thought about it. And then we might move to one of my last questions. I don't know yet though.
Okay.
Is it different? How was training for you as Iron Jaw with holding someone while they're moving different from you holding yourself moving?
Okay,
I don't know if that makes sense.
I'm about to reveal a big secret.
Okay.
So it's so much easier holding somebody else when I'm upside down.
Really?
Yes. Now, I thought because usually the person under me is lighter, so then ratio-wise it makes sense because I'm heavier. So when I'm hanging myself, I'm heavier and that feels harder than when I'm upside down holding. Like April's lighter than me, so that was always easier. And I'm like, and it would always get the bigger applause. So like, he's holding her with his teeth, But I was like, oh, it's the easy part of the act. Awesome. Awesome.
It always, listen, even as dancers, it always is.
It always is.
It's always the kickball change.
It's the kickball change. It's the split in silks. It's that whole thing. But when I started working with Franklin, I'm pretty sure he's heavier than me because he's muscly. He looks like an Avenger. I always say, I was like, I gotta do some more sit-ups because I have to go take my shirt off next to the Avenger. But as soon as I held him, I was like, no, that is just easier.
Really?
For some reason, holding somebody, and I think because I'm in more of a rest position, maybe, like because I'm usually in some kind of straddle, in my hips hanging, so I get to, like, obviously I stay engaged because I want aesthetically to look nice in position, but yeah, it is easier holding.
I wonder if because you're holding yourself like in a straddle, like now your hips are taking, like more of your torso's taking the load off. Yeah. Because it's not just solely from one place. Maybe.
Yeah, that sounds. I don't know. Yeah, I honestly, it broke my brain when it was easier with Franklin because I was like, oh, he's bigger, so I need to.
Yeah.
And we were building circus couture while I was training for the world record. So it could just be because I was training that world record that now hanging upside down is easier because I've held 3 people. Yeah. So anyone can hang off me now if you want to, if it's just one person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Does it, because Franklin like spun and everything. Like, does that feel different?
So there is a wobble. And what's kind of fun, and I do like it, it looks kind of crazy because you'll see my head like really wobbling, but it doesn't feel the way it looks. It actually feels fine. It kind of feels like a smaller version of what you see. Like, it feels fine. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So cool.
Yeah.
So cool because like who's ever going to test that out on themselves at home?
Me.
Other than you.
I am.
Wait, that's right. Ooh, okay. Okay, so big question of the podcast.
Yeah, tell me.
Tell me your funniest story as a performer.
Okay, so I got approval before this.
Yes.
I have 2 stories. They're within a year, and I'm going to try my best to keep it short, but also give you all the details so that it's funny. Okay, so picture this. I'm 18 and I leave home. I actually finished high school on my first cruise ship because I left my junior year. So I leave home and I'm going to go to my first cruise ship contract. But before that,
oh my God, was the internet good enough on a cruise ship for that?
I would go to Starbucks in port and I had to wait till I was in port and do homework and then go and do shows on the ship.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Sidetrack.
No, totally. So I leave home before I'm going to go to Florida for rehearsals. But before that, my parents got me a graduation-ish present by letting me do this convention. I don't know, Kids Artistic Review, dance competition. I don't know. Is that still around?
Car? Yeah, car.
I was a car kid.
Yes.
So I was accepted into their convention, like their car kid convention that's in New York.
Yes, I've done that.
You did it? Okay,
yeah.
so you're going to love this story.
Yep, okay.
So you're going to know. So I go to do that with all of my life because I'm leaving. So I go to New York with like all these big suitcases. And I get there. Now, part of it was you're going to take class, different places. You're going to get to tour Radio City, like all those.
And I think
things.
Like 2 Broadway musicals or something is included.
This is where the story begins. The true story. This is where the funny begins. So, did you get to vote? There was like a list of shows, and you voted.
Yeah,
so
and then whoever got the most votes
that's
is
what
the
you
shows.
Went to go see.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see Moving Out. I'm 18. That's the dance show. I want to see Moving Out. The other shows on there were things like Hairspray and Wicked. And Wicked had just come out. I didn't know anything about Wicked. So I'm like, no, I want Moving Out. I want the dance show. So I get to New York and it's me, 18-year-old Michael, and a bunch of 9 to maybe 14-year-old girls in this thing. So what do you think won the vote? Not Moving Out. It was Wicked. And I'm pissed. I'm like, really? We're going to the fairy tale show? I'm so mad. I wanted to go to the dance show, but whatever. So whatever, so we're doing the classes and and I'm having the best time and it's great. I'm the only boy. So of course the attention, it's just how it happens, whatever. So it's great. So then it's time to go to Wicked. I'm like, all right, let's just see what this show's all about. So I'm watching the show and I'm like, oh, wow, this is actually really good. This is cool. Show's going on. Defying Gravity comes up and I'm like, oh shit, this is incredible. And Defying Gravity finishes and I'm crying and I'm like, this is amazing. So I get up, I walk out to the lobby, I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I have just seen the most amazing show. It's about the Wicked Witch, about how she turns into the Wicked Witch. And when she was younger, she was going to school. It's amazing. And I'm about to leave because keep in mind, I've never seen a Broadway show before. I grew up going to Vegas where you only know 90-minute shows that don't have an intermission. So I almost walk out of the show because I thought it was over. That's the Wicked Witch. She became the Wicked Witch. So then as I'm about to leave, the intercom comes up and they're like, please take your seats for Act 2. We'll be starting in 5 minutes. I was like, Dad, there's more. And so I luckily hear that and go back in and watch the second act of Wicked that I almost missed. Here's another really funny part. I didn't realize who I was watching either. It was the original cast. It was Adina and Kristen, and I didn't know until years later. So that was my intro to Broadway. And now Wicked's like my favorite. And if anyone who knows me knows I'm obsessed and I'm annoying. I was annoying when the movie came out. Trust me. Yeah. Fiero.
Yes.
So that's the first story.
Okay, what's the second one?
So fast forward a year, I do my first contract of cruise ships and I move to Vegas and I get into the Folies Bergère. I'm an acrobat dancer. I'm young, so nothing hurts, tumbling on steel floors, whatever. And while I was doing that contract, we got invited to do the Jerry Lewis Telethon. I don't know. Do you know what that is? And if you don't know what that is, it was this charity event where celebrities would perform and people would call in and donate money. So we get asked to perform our Can number. That was the big finale number and was the big reason any of the acrobats were hired because that's where they tumbled a lot. And so I was like, oh, awesome. And I was kind of the premier tumbler at the time in that show. So I was like, that's awesome because I got to be in the opening moment where I'm front center. I get to have this really cool front aerial moment before we start the big Can. I'm really excited. So we go to the set where we're going to film this. And we're sitting there waiting for our turn. And they're like, okay, Follies, it's your turn. Go ahead and step on set. And I'm walking to where I know where my center position would be. And there's a stage manager, producer talking to this woman and her back's to me. And I'm tapping my foot like, come on, like, it's our turn. Like, kind of getting irritated. I'm like, it's our turn. And that is my spot, Mind you, I'm 19. So I just think I'm hot shit and whatever, So I'm just sitting there kind of tapping my foot, waiting for her to leave. She turns around. It's Celine Dion. And she goes, I'm sorry. And I was like, that's okay, Celine. And then she walks off. And then we did our rehearsal. And I was like, oh my God, I was aggravated with Celine Dion. And oh my God, I just met Celine Dion. So there's a little bit baby, like extra funniness to this story. So we do our rehearsal. It's great. We're supposed to do it the following day in the afternoon before we do our shows. Mm-hmm. So I get up the next morning and I'm so excited, have my breakfast, do a little warm up. 10 o'clock, we all get a mass text. Hey guys, they messed up the schedule. We were supposed to go on at 9, so we missed our slot. So we're not doing the telethon. See you at work. So we didn't even do the show. So I was aggravated at Celine Dion, got to meet her, and then we didn't actually do the show. So that is the first year of my career from leaving high school.
Not you being like, what's this bitch doing in my spot?
Get out of my spot.
You're like, move. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Like, she's immediate. I probably turned the palest.
Oh, yeah.
Like
royalty.
Yeah. Royalty. Oops. And like that was when A New Day was still like
same time frame.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I love that.
Yeah. So those make me giggle still 20 years later.
That's great. Oh my Lord. And then not even being able to do it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I do have, I think, 2 more questions.
Okay.
Throughout your entire career, what has surprised you most? It can be about anything.
Okay. I'm going to take a second. Let me fan across some fun stuff.
Yeah, it can be like jobs. It can be like learning about certain...
Yeah, because I've been surprised a lot. I think I'm surprised with how I got it. I am surprised at the resiliency of our industry.
Oh.
Because if you are in our industry currently and you have been in it for a while, to experience it from pre-COVID and after COVID. Pre-COVID, we knew our industry was volatile. It always will be volatile. But to see it come back after COVID the way that it has, it's not easy. It's still not easy. And it is changing and it is different now, especially in Vegas. But, our industry is forever changing. And I've seen it change from working in Vegas as a teenager and working in Vegas as not a teenager now. And it's a completely different city. But to really see our industry will last forever. People want to see people do cool shit. End of story. So if you are moved to do cool shit, do it because somebody wants to see you do it. And I think that was the surprise because, you get told you're only going to be able to do this career for so long. I'm telling you, I'm 20 years in and I thought I was done many times. And then I'm all of a sudden not done. And I'm like, oh, I'm still doing cool shit and people want to see me do it. Awesome. Okay. So resiliency, the surprise is, I think my own resiliency, that surprised me because I didn't think sometimes I had it. And then just seeing it outside all of us, we are very resilient. And I'm happy for that surprise. This is a good one.
Yeah, I adore that answer. Absolutely adore it. So why were there times where you didn't want to do this anymore?
Yeah, I've had different reasons. First, in the younger years, I felt like I was never the right body type as a male. I got told a lot early on that I was too thin and wasn't like bulky enough. And that, funny enough, it's such an opposite of like in general what you would hear in the industry. It's like, you can't be too fat. Like that's usually what a lot of people get. And so hearing that a lot and then being like, how do I fix that? It's just the way my body is, you know? And I did go through periods of trying to put on weight, the creatine and the weights and like training and feeling like shit all the time, eating calories and calories and calories, you know, and trying to fit a mold, like really trying to fit a mold and not really getting results because it's just biologically not my body type. And so then I started to get like, do I want to do this then if I'm never going to actually fit the mold? And then thankfully, there was just a shift. When I got into Alice, that Ann Martinez created that show, and April was in that show with me, and incredible artists. And they let me be me in that show completely. And then it was celebrated. And that was a big turning point for me as an artist, to love myself for what it is and what it can do. So that was probably like an era where I was like, do I want to? And then I'm sure a lot of people have this story. COVID was a time, you know, in the early COVID of us not really knowing, I was like, that's why I went to pilot school. You know, I was like, do I need to like figure something out? Because what if we don't come back in a way, or what if I don't do it enough and I don't get back in if it does, you know? And that didn't happen. I came back in. I'm like, oh, good. Okay. It's still in. And, you know, it really reminded me how much I love performing, because I was like, oh my God, I almost didn't have that anymore. And I'm not ready for that. Now in this phase of life, it's really my body. It's injury. Like I'm constantly trying to prevent injury. And because a lot, especially as a circus artist who wants to do big stuff and dangerous stuff, it's not necessarily about if, it's when, you know, with injuries, and it's just maintaining your body. And so, you know, you just feel certain things that you didn't feel 10 years ago. You're like, how long am I going to be able to manage that? And what am I willing to give up creatively with my body to still maybe perform, but I know I'm not doing what I used to be able to do. So every now and then I'm like, am I getting close to transitioning out into doing something else within the industry that isn't necessarily performing? So that it's faint at that stage. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
You have a world record to break. What do you mean?
Exactly.
You're not ready.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm probably going to be one of those older performers who they have to be like, hey, you know, maybe you should think about.
I think our bodies are resilient.
They are. And talking about resilience, like every time I think I've hurt myself in a way that, oh no, maybe it's over. And then I get better and I'm like, oh, well, I'm better now. So I guess I can keep going.
Oh my God, I love that so much. You know, it has been such a joy to talk to you.
Same. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. And if people want to follow you and connect with you, I will put that information in the description.
Yeah, do.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was so fun.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Before the Curtain. Please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever it is you listen to the podcast. We love to hear your virtual round of applause. If you know of a production or artist that deserves to have their story told, send us an email or message us on Instagram by clicking the link in the description.